Pettukinde omitaakuepe koda chiape o resto chiape dina. Hato kri ampe aya wa hiatake. Hote handed wa hishne. Ka pettukinde mihidu yaga. Ito ektab daki e chaminga. Ode wa hido Yok pia. Honape chiuzape. Dakota pi ayaba. Vidi hedich iapo. Iapi. Onka hekta kia. Otanka ki hina ayapi. Otokata ki aosh akiktashe. Dakota po. Dakota hiduha po ayapi. Hina wiksi. Hacha hecha on. Hodeche da ke wahea take. Onka hodina anahupta nakapi. Uspenic ichiapte. Dakota pi wanicheka ha. Yoti ekia yakumpte. Hecher api hecher wichawad. So hina tokahaya epawa chi. Wita Dakota Iapi unspeunki chichiapte. O techa ki denon kapi hunia. Tukat kid umpta. Aya yakumpe. O ed o tuweka wawokia wachi. Ho chokata kia ay uhinaj. Ho hina tuwepicha sturwicha ape. Ho hina wopida wicha kia. Good afternoon out there in live stream land, I would say. I don't know how to say it. But it's good to be here again this afternoon. I wasn't available when the program started. I imagine or I heard a scheduling was made. 3 days of the week, apetu yamani. The first day, whether it's a Tuesday, would be Techik dina, the young ones, the young Takojas, Tunshkas, Tungjan dina, the younger generation, first day. Then the second day was the older Otanka dina, the older ones that are 30 years and up, I think. And the third day, the Thursday would be for everybody. And I encourage that for these age groups to come and sit with us here in this room to talk about language, to talk about those things that go along with language, the traditions. These we have to hold important, hold dear to our hearts, our beings. We always hear, and at my age, I always also hear too, the old guys, that would be a generation ago. They talk about the disappearing of our ways, including language and culture. At those times, if we don't do anything to keep the language and the culture going, we will find difficulty in our lives. I don't think they mean difficulty physically, but I think they mean spiritually. And also they mean that we will lose those things that we enjoy that sustain us because we are Indian. And I've said that before. Being Indian and registered, like for example in this community, we benefit from those things, those agreements that were agreed to a few generations ago, that has to do with our well-being, housing, education, health, those things that the government, through agreement, issues or it gives us through financially through our office here for our benefit. Those are dependent on us being Indians, and I've said that before. Those are the difficulties I think the old people talk about. And do I see that today? Some of it, the beginnings of it. So it's urgent, it's important that we understand that as a generation today, that it is important to continue being an Indian if we want the government to make those agreements to happen, to keep going. So these are just my thoughts. So that's the physical part of it, but there's a spiritual aspect to it. Wocheki Iapi, prayer, ceremony, the customs that we practice today to make our spirit stronger. Not our spiritual, physical self, but spiritual beings like our relatives. That are not here with us physically, but spiritually. These kinds of understandings. I don't want to go too far in that, but all these together make us who we are. Who are you? Who am I? Nitueha, who are you? Matueha, who am I? Who am I? Oswald McKay, my registered name in Ottawa. Ish or Hechaka wakayamani. Wakia o ichua. Chajenum biduhe. I have two names. 3 names. One is English and 2 names in Dakota. So that's me personally. Matako he, what am I? Damakota. I'm a Dakota. Dakota makoche. Oid imahe do. That's my identity. My identity. Dakota wohadakap. The Dakota language. That along with Dakota Chaje, Dakota name. And I live here in Dakota territory. That's my identity. If you're missing one of those, then it's questionable who you are. At least that's the understanding that I have. So before I continue, I'm going to say short prayer to Creator. And I'm going to share a song. And I will explain what that song means to the old people. Last year when we were gathered here like this, J.C. Takoja shared a song that was sung generations ago, 2 generations ago or so. And it talks about language. And it talks about the government wanting to change who we are through language, loss of language. So I will say that short prayer, Creator, to watch over us. Creator to help us continue being Indian, Dakota. And I will share that song. Honka ato kantanka unshimakida. Ake apetua wayagmaya, apetua mayaku, yawopide chichi. Honka apetu opta kiktikinde. Homitaku ye michinshi mitakusha. Oko dawicha ikchewichashtaki dina uchahada, echid hoichich. Apetu optonki apte, unshankidapo. Awan yakapo ayahechi. Ode hoichichi. Awanietunga hiwankacha. Ho optonki aptero hato kantanka. Ho chwitashne. Wote hedashne. Aipozishne. Wayazankishne hechid. Optonki apte. Wetu amanknipte aya ato kantanka hoichichi. Onka dahan Dakota apte aushak. Dakota Iapi. Unkichinkapi. Aya unyakumpe. Onka petu kide. He onka achtanipte Dakota Iapi unkikikchupte. Onka achtanipte onka wachiuni apido. Anshukida po ato kantanka. Onki apo aya hechi. He hoye chichia. Kan heche Dakota ki. Tokata ki heche hene. Ho Dakota umpte. Awichuni. Awashteyu hapte aya heche. Hoye chichia. Hachanamichich omakyo aya heche. Wopide chichido. Omitako yawas. Onka, I was talking about a song that was shared by J.C. Takoja, J.C. last year, and we had an idea that we were going to share that song, and a very important song, a lot of meaning behind it. We were going to share that song at some point in our classes. I thought I'll share that with you. It's too bad that JC's not here right now, but I will share that song and I will explain what that song means. And these were sung by uncans, grandpas, maybe two generations ago. So that's a long time already. And that song, it goes like this. Oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey 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 oh hey hey oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh yo hey oh hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh yo hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh Tukashena hey oh ke oh pedo oh hey hey Dakota ke washe chupo ayo ke ope hey tama konshni ayo ay Dakota pe te wachendo yedo ay pe no chish wo 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 ki yedo ay oy oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey 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 oh hey 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 oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh yo hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh yo hey oh hey oh hey oh hey hey oh hey hey oh yo Taka shena heya keya pedo hey Dakota ke washe chupo heyo keyo pe hey tama kushni edo ay Dakota pete wachendo yedo ay peno nachshish wo 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 ki yedo ay hahechet ap kape hanang he 2 generations ago it was told that when people are gathered they come together to dance, what you call powwow today. While the powwow is going on, over here, off to the side, will be a collection of old guys. What those old guys are talking, will be saying, is about being who we are today and moving forward. These old guys that are sitting off to the side, they will be talking and singing songs, what you would call scalp songs, scalp dance songs, iwakchi odoa. They'll be sitting on the side talking about that and making or singing songs that they will share amongst each other, the old guys that were sitting to the side. And according to that story, this one old guy sang that song. And the meaning behind that song is very important. I will try to explain what the words mean. And this is how I understand it. Tunkanshida hayakayape. Tunkanshida meaning the Canadian government or the Prime Minister, that is considered a Tunkanshida, somebody that's higher, has a higher position. Tunkanshida hayakayape. It was this person that said that. Hayakayape. This is what he said. Tunkanshida hayakayape. Dakota ki, the Dakotas, washichu po, be a white person. Ayakayape. Dakota ki washichu po, ayakayape. Dakotas, you be white people, act and talk like a white person. Ayakayape. He tamakashni, that doesn't sit well with me, is what that word means, tamakashni. I don't believe in that. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't want to. He's saying he does not want to be a washichu. Tamakashni. Ayakap. Dakota pi. Dakotas. Tewachinda I cherish. The whole of a Dakota, what language and culture. Tewachinda, I cherish that. I hold that dear to my heart. Epe, that's what I said. Dakota pi tewachinda epe. I said that. Nahachchish wawowaki. Because of that, because of I said that, I believe that nahachchish wawowaki. Because that was his being, that was what he thinks. He helps to prevent that from Dakota becoming a washichu. Dakota pi tewachinda Chanahachshish wawowake. I help wherever I can so that eventuality is not going to happen. So there is that Dakota mentality. Generations ago, I would say, what was coming in the future? What was the plan of the government of the day? And today we talk about residential school. We talk about loss of language. We talk about different religion, Christianity, and these kinds of things that has taken Dakota-ness, Dakota being, away from us forcefully in the old days, in the 1800s, and we got used to it, and we did it to ourselves after that. But that important message should be in our minds, in our psyche, to prevent that from happening. What this old man 2 generations ago was singing about, Iwakchi Odoa, a scalp song, scalp dance. They used to do that dance. My grandpa, Jim McKay, was the head man of that group, Iwakchipi. Warriors dance, what you would call a scalp dance. The men would dance, and the woman would dance on this side. The woman would come, dance back, come, dance back. That was forbidden early part of 1900s, somewhere in there. So that was not practiced anymore. We should remember those kinds of traditions. And try to keep them alive, because that's what the old guys sang about. Dakota pi tewachinda chawawoke. And that is what I believe in too. Damakota, I believe in the Dakota being a Dakota. So mija, me too. Wawoke, I help. That's why I'm here today. Hoping and praying to Creator to help us, to open the mind of Dakota, the young people. Just like the mind of that old guy 2 generations ago, that he does not want to be that person that the government wants you to be. To remain Dakota, as Creator gave us to be. Daonkotapte. He gave us a territory, gave us a language, a tradition, a culture to sustain us. A language that goes along with everything. So Dina, all of these, Dina. Ichunk umpkaha. Daonkotapte. If we do these, we will be Dakota. Still remain Dakota. Enjoy that life that Creator gave us. So it is a task that we all must understand, and we all must do something to keep it alive. Each one of us individually, we have a duty, a responsibility to do so. When you do these things, it makes, should I say, Creator happy? Maybe not happy, but He has pity on us. Unshe undape, wakantanka, unshe undape. Inach dina Dakota pe. These are still Dakota. I will keep on helping them. Oh, it's all kicked. And that life that Creator gave us, that wakantaka uchuniwa unkope. Wahe washijagekta inalienable api. Washichu yu iaskapi. Tueda he ichu kishn. Kamye wachinki ka akhbawakt. Inalienable rights of lands, a territory where we can live, thrive, prosper. Those things that Creator gave us are inalienable. Nobody can take it away. But we can put it aside if we want. Why would we put it aside? The reason why we might put it aside is because we don't find value to it anymore. We don't care. Or those things that make us care about who we are, what Creator gave us, who we're supposed to be. That care that keeps us motivated to keep that going was taken away. So unknowingly we've set aside or given away our inalienable right to be Dakota within our territory. We've set it aside. These are things that come to my mind now as an old man. I think about how the old people were 2 or 3 generations ago, 1800s, 1900s, to the year 2025 today. How things have changed. Tokcha ay, Tokcha. It is becoming different. So these are dinadad. These are things that I thought I will speak about on my first day back in class. Mija b'dihed I take courage. I don't want to be sitting at home with these minds, these thoughts, these understandings, and not do anything about it. If I do that, then I'm not being responsible. It is my duty to talk to the young Natakojas about these things. These things that give us who we are as Dakota. So I asked Creator earlier in my prayer to unshundapte, to have pity on us, unshundapte. Da unkota unwachimpi, we're trying to be Dakota. To see us trying and to help us. My friends, Kodas, Mitakuye, my relatives, Michincha, my children, Mitakoja, my grandchildren, and those yet unborn. And those people that are listening today out there, all of us, if we want to continue to be a Dakota, for Creator to help us through this day so we can understand, tawachi, unyusutapte, our mind to make strong, yusutakte, to clear it, yusutakte, so that we can take the message, understand it, and then use it. Apetukinde this day. Together we will journey into the future through winter. Wanietu, optunkepte, we'll cross this winter. Thinking about the spring, wetu hehaya, amankinipte. We will journey. While we're journeying through this winter, Creator to have pity on us, unshundapte. So through this difficult time of winter. Unchuitaptishne, we won't be cold. Wote unhadaptishne, we won't be hungry. Iumpuzaptishne, we won't be thirsty. Wa'oyanzakaptishne, we won't be sick. While we're doing that, going through this journey through winter, we will take Creator's goodness, His help, for us to be who we're supposed to be as Dakota. To take that language so it'll flourish in us and we feel the benefits and we talk about it, we help, and these kinds of things within our family settings. These are my wishes. These are my prayers I ask Creator to do for us. So as a introduction, I thought I will I say those things. Let us work together and see what kind of life we can make for our children, our grandchildren, and those yet unborn. Famous words along those lines. A couple of 2 or 3 generations ago, Sitting Bull, Tantanka Iapi had a council. Omanichia, they had a meeting. And he talked to his people, his leaders. And he used those words because he sees the future. Let us put our minds together. We will all think. Let us put our minds together, make it into one. To reconcile, as the famous words of today, I guess. To reconcile. Let's put our minds together. See what kind of life we can make for our children. They talk about 7 generations. We show each other generation. We show each other shakoi. 7 generations. Are we the 7th generation now since that time? I am not sure. But it is somewhere in there. These are famous words. Of a great man, a great leader, a leader for his people. He fought for his people. He prayed for his people. He gave to his people what he could, never asking for anything back. Because he had a message from Creator for the people. And we must not forget December 15, week in that December, this month is December 15, December 15, 1890, when he finished his work, he passed away December 15, 1890. Let's remember him on that day. I don't know when December 15 is, according to the Gregorian calendar. It's next week, I know that. Calendar says next Monday, right? Monday ke ha? Monday ke ha? Anang ha? Ana chat ha? Early in the morning. His life was taken. So except those that you remember that date. Those are important dates. And again, later on in the month, December 29, somewhere around there, Bigfoot Iapi, si Tanka. After Sitting Bull, Tatanka Yatake was killed, then Bigfoot, si Tanka, he took his Tioshpais and they traveled south towards Pine Ridge down that. They camped somewhere down there. But the U.S. cavalry caught up to them. Massacre at Wounded Knee Iapi. You've seen pictures of it. These are things that our people came through generations ago, the difficulties. 1862 uprising up in Minnesota. Some of us, all of us, we have relatives over there in 1862 that some of them came back home in this area after the battles, but there's always Dakota and what is now known as Canada back in the day. 1862 uprising because of difficulties. These are events that happened generations ago, this month in December. The battle in Minnesota happened in the fall, but the hanging of those individuals they determined to be the criminals were hanged on December 26, 38 plus 2 Iapi. Wikshimanayanim Yamani Sam Shahadoga, 38 Utkewchap. They're hanged because of the uprising. Plus 2 Iapi, Sam Sampanum, plus 2. Shakpeda. Medicine bottle Iapi. And my grandma used to talk about that when I was young. I grew up with my grandma, and she talks about that incident where these two individuals, Medicine Bottle and Little Six, they're arrested somewhere around Portage over here. Portage is east of here towards Winnipeg. For those of you that don't know the geography up here in Canada. They got them drunk, but I think they used some sort of a drug, but that's how Mekunshi explained to me. They got them drunk, tied them up. The border, they took them to the border, and then from there America took them. And they're hanged too, those two individuals. So these are things that significant events that happened a couple of generations ago, 2 or 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago. That should give us some sort of a need, a want to continue who we are as Dakota. These are the reasons why I believe that the old guy that sang that song, the Iwakchi Odoma scalp song, these are the reasons why that I believe the old man, the grandpa, he sang that song. Tunkanshida Iapi, the government. Hayaka Iapi, that's what he said. Dakota kinwashichupo. You Dakotas, you'll be our shichu. But he didn't want it. And these are the reasons why. things that happened to us over generations that cause us to be how we are today. That cause us to be who we are today, how we are today. Dakota pe we should cherish being a Dakota. Because by it, we suffered, our people suffered lots. They suffered in different ways physically. We're suffering because we don't have the language. We should cherish it. Let's help one another to bring it back. We haven't lost it yet, but there's concern that we might lose it. We should help one another and ensure that our generations moving forward will remain Dakota. So as we go along through the Wanietu, the winter, I'm thinking that I will use history, some history, to promote the language. Ehana history, ehana taku tokitu. What happened, ehana, a long time ago. Taku tokitu. Oape. History is written. Taku tokitu oape. Hina those iwo hadakit. I'll talk about those as a tool, wotawe, to promote the language. On Dakota Iapi Yohawa wokit. With the history, I'll promote and teach the language. So while you're learning the language, using the language, you will also know a little bit about history. I have a friend, a very dear friend. He's a researcher. I won't mention his name, but he was a researcher. Does a lot of research for Dakota and other tribes, yeah. He loves being a researcher, historian, book writer. He has a series of booklets. I'm going to use these as a teaching tool. A tool as Wotawe is a tool. I will use his writings, his research writings, as a tool to teach. There's a series of booklets. The first ones that he made from A to F or something like that, G or something like that. There's a series of booklets. This is book B. I just grabbed these, not in any particular order, but I just grabbed these to show you. British letters, correspondence between key posts, British Army officers, and commands under Governor General Haldeman regarding the Sioux, 1770, 1782. Very important to know history, Iapi. That's what they say, Iapi. They say history is important, and it surely is. Because through history, understanding history, ehana taku tokitu oapi, the history that's written, will give you an understanding of what's happening today. Tokitu yakum de. We will understand it, by history. We will understand it. So that tomorrow, tomorrow, we will make decisions a good decisions so we don't repeat what's happening for the future. It's been said that if you don't know your history, how do you know? How can you plan for tomorrow? Wise words, I don't know whoever said those. Very wise words. Ehana wo ohadake. Ehana, a long time ago, wo ohadake. The stories. Very important. So those are the things that I'm thinking I will use to teach a little bit of history along with the Dakota language so that we'll know a little bit of history as well as learning, retaining, and using the language. When you learn words, if you don't use it, then you forget it. So as you're learning, muspe ania, you're learning, you're understanding, unispe. You have to use it. That's why you're learning, is to use it. I encourage that. I always encourage my nephews and my nieces to learn the language and to use it while the otanka, the elders are still here, because it's your turn. After we're gone, like this, my generation, after we're gone, then you have the responsibility next. My nephews, my nieces, the takojas that are old enough, it'll be your turn. It'll be your turn to protect the language. So I always advise them to learn the language. Unspe ich yapo. Teach yourself while we're here. Po, use it. Iapo, speak it. Nipo, live with it, live by it. Hina Mishnana hena hepeshne. I'm not the only one saying that. I know in this community the older people, otanka. Hinaija hechimpi, they think that Iapi, they say it. So techa kidina. The techa means new, the new ones, meaning 30, 40, 50-year-old ones, techa. Hina yukshampo, think about those and practice it, because hina wana niepido. It will be up to you now. Within the next 10 years, it will be your turn. So hina storiaba echumpo. Realize those, storiaba, understand those, realize those, echumpo, and do it. So your children, your grandchildren will benefit. Iye iwashtepte, it'll do them good. Iwashtepte. So let's all learn together what it is to be a Dakota. You just don't say, I'm a Dakota, and just, go around talking English. When you say, I'm a Dakota, you act like it, you do it, you say it. Dakota Iapi. Dakota Echumpi Wichocha. Echumpi do Wichocha, the duties. So I encourage these things, but I was thinking of using history to do it. 1770, that's a long time ago. British letters maybe these are actual letters that are found in the archives. Some of the different chapters and dates, 1775 to 1800. United States secedes from British Empire. United States isantanka Iapi, United States isantanka. Or Minahaska Iapi, long knife, isantanka. Secedes from the British Empire. British Empire. Unchiapi tunkonshidaiapi chashtayatapi, British kings and queens. Secedes, they take themselves out of their grasp. You know, as United States today, they're all one group. What you in the old days, in the 1700s, in the 1600s. Washichik the French, the British, they were here. The British were here. The 13 colonies in the United States, they all come from the same region. They're kind of like probably know each other. So one group wanted to secede or take themselves out of British rule, kings and queens rule. And that's what America is today. Today in Canada, we're still under British rule. The king is still sitting over there somewhere in his office, governing over Canada and his Indians. That's 1775 to 1800s. The United States secedes the British Empire. Depaster fidelity of the Sioux. Report of Indian Wars. Haldeman, prevent a breach between Chippewa and Sioux. Sinclair ordered out a war party under Wabasha, Wapahasha, Wachpesha. Efficiency of Wabasha's Indians. 1,000 Sioux under Wabasha. What that is Wabasha was in the War of 1812 and in the War of the 7 Year War. Wabasha played an important role. Wabasha was made a brigadier general in 1812, 1814 war of independence, or war between Canada or British and the United States to make that border. Wabasha. Presents to the Sioux, that just signifies, denotes that the Sioux were allied, Dakota were allied with the British Crown. Those are still in effect. Those are still valid. It's just that we haven't brought it up to our attention to understand. Hey, we still have this allyship because we never gave it up. And Britain, the kings and the queens never told us that our allyship is done. It's over. No, we didn't. We didn't receive any kind of message like that. So I think these are important dates throughout history to understand who we are as Dakotas. Daonkotape. How did we live here? How did we live in our territory? How did we live as Dakotas? Ocheti shakoi ayape. Cheti peta cheti fire, campfire. Ocheti shakoi. 7 council fires. I'll talk about these things, how important that is. 7 council fires that make up our government. as Dakota, Lakota, Nakota. That's our government. When we say we are sovereign in our territory, we can't forget that. A sovereign nation has to have a government. It has to have a territory. When we say we're sovereign, that's sovereignty. The word we are sovereign. We take care of ourselves. We're supposed to, but we've allowed it because we don't understand it, allowed the federal government to oversee our lives. And some of it is because of those stipulations of treaties or agreements. We're not treaty Indians as Dakota, and we have to understand that too. We're not treaty Indians, but our agreements go prior to the treaty-making days of 1871. So that is why we say we are sovereign, because our legal status as Dakotas, we haven't given that up. We just made an agreement with the British Crown, the British military, to help each other. And we did help the British Crown through military in the War of Independence, and also War of 1812, 1814. And those rumors of wars in the mid-1800s, when the Dakota were put on guard because America was going to invade 1861, that era. Why would the British Crown, British military come to Dakota and ask for aid? That's one thing that Canadian society as a whole don't understand. The important contribution of Dakota to the building of, I don't want to say country, but this dominion called Canada. How important of a role Dakota played in what we know as Canada today. What would happen? What would have happened if Britain at that time in 1812, 1814 lost the war? What would have happened? These are considerations that our young people should understand. I believe that will give them honor, that would iokpipte. They will understand what happened, so to be proud of what the Dakotas contributed to Canada becoming Canada, what is known as Canada today. The General Society don't understand that because it's not taught in schools, but it should be taught in schools. Waiawa Tipi school, Hechia over there, Muspewicha Kiapte, they should be taught. These are things that I thought I will use as a tool. Now you out there in TV land, see what you think. Do you think that's a good idea? To understand a little bit of history, what we've come through. We've come through an era, generations, to where we are today. We are still Dakota. We have to remain Dakota in order for our allyship with the British Crown to stand strong. We have allyship with the British Crown, military, economic, and trade. Those are the stipulations of, if we want to call it a treaty. Because countries, sovereign countries, they're the only ones that can make treaty. So when they came to Dakota to ask for assistance militarily, At that time, the British Crown, the British military, knew and understand that Dakota were sovereign. They're a nation. That's why they made a treaty. And we are still the same people. We never gave anything away. So those are things that is the truth. It's written in history. You take a book like all these research here that this researcher put together. This all points to the fact that we are who we are. Back then to today. We never gave anything up. We have to stand strong behind that. Because once the next generation understands that, these are the ways we didn't understand. Because it's not taught. Somebody in Wipazokawakpa, somebody in Sioux Valley, whether it's our government of the day today, should inquire about these Ooyake, the history, and make sure that our young people understand it. The only way we can do that is if we teach it in school. Teach it in school. I think that's a good idea. Use important dates. So I'm going to use that anyways to to teach you about history and about language, the importance of it. Dakota, Iapi, Dakota language. So I will go that far right now and take a break. And then we'll come back to you again in a few minutes. I just wanted to give you that so you'll understand, be ready for how I'm going to use my hour or two to teach the language. Hechituk te do washte. Aho, okay. Okay, unhadipi. We are back, unhadipi. Unka, taku ya otraimta yecheche. Ya otraimta announcements. Ya otraimte. Bada otraimte, I will announce things that will happen next couple of weeks throughout the holiday season. Takoja here, my grandson here, the guy behind the camera, is going to be busy throughout the holiday season. There's functions, takun ichumpte, functions, scheduled, ichiaza oapi, schedule, ichiaza oapi. It's written in a format, ichiaza oapi, schedule. He's scheduled to be here and there. Taku ichumpta iwohadakaba hadushtampit. He will be going to functions like Christmas dinners, Christmas maybe at the school. These kinds of things he's already scheduled to take the camera around. So it will be busy times next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So we won't be live streaming the Dakota language classes, Dakota Iapi speech, Iapi ed. Ya otraim tishni TV akan, they won't be shown on TV. But the work with language will continue. Mish, I'm always ready to help wherever I can. I get a lot of questions by text on the phone, omas ape, the phone. People say, how do you say this? And I help in that way. So I'm always ready to help wherever I can when people ask questions, and I will continue to do so throughout the holidays. But I think January 6th, I believe, Takoja? Yeah? January 6th, we will live stream again. And I encourage those age groups, the tacha, the new ones, the young ones, to come and join us here. If you don't have anything to do, upo, come. We'll have tea. We will drink coffee. We'll sit around. We will talk language. Dakota Iapi. Because it's important that you hear you hear the spoken word. And that's how we learn. And also I will be writing on here too what the task of the day is, the language or the topic of the day. If I can, I will write it too. So Nija, you tiata at home, you can write it down and keep on practicing. Repetition, I will be repetitive. Epamakikte, repetition. So naachumte, you will hear. And numpte, you will use it. Apetu iohi, all the days. Apetu iohi. Taku stodiapi, taku oyakachnikapi. What you hear, what you understand. Numpte, you use it. Hechekiha, that way you will retain. Hedusiampte, you will retain the language and use it. Find a friend, kodawaji. Kchi ido takikte, you sit. Kchi ido takiga. Dakota Iapi dina, the Dakota language, numpte, you use it. Practice on each other. Numpte, kihaheche. Oyakach nigaba, sutaya, hadusiumpte, you will retain it and hold it strong so that you don't forget. I've talked about it before where there's a spirit that causes us not to learn and to use the language. Dakota pi washichu po ayapke ha. Dakota kin the Dakotas be a washichu, be a assimilated person in the washichu way. As that song goes, there's a mindset, there's a spirit that controls the mind that might try to convince you that it's not important. You don't have to use the language. It's not important anymore. There's that train of thought that convinces you not to use the language and practice the ways. There's a spirit behind it, and I've talked about it before, and it's very real. It is there. It's always been there, always will be there. How do you keep that away? So that your mind will be fresh, an Indian mind, Dakota Woyukcha, Dakota mind, the thinking Dakota, will be there. And you do that with practice, with prayer. Tawa Kantanka Creator, Omakia will help me learn the language. Munkta, I will use it. Keep my mind fresh. Tawachimi Tawaki, you techa, make it fresh. So that I can fill it with Indianness, Dakotaness. Dakota, Iapi, Dakota, Wichochan, Kindina. Iweksukta, I will take it again. Munkta, I will use it again. So that I will be like who you created me to be. Akedamakodakt. These are things that I think we should understand, so that it will be a little easier to find the importance of language and use it to practice it. And we will do it together. Yuitaya, together. We'll come together to promote, to learn, to use the language. To promote Tokatake, Unkaba Chunkumte. I think will be good, but I wanted to tell you how I'm going to try to do it, as with history lessons that tells us who we are, how the government sees us back then, how the British Crown, the British people, saw us, viewed us back in the 1700s, 1800s, how we associated together. Vitaya, Kichi, we work together with an understanding that we are a nation. So I think that's very important to know. These are facts. Dina hechi tu Iapi. It was written. So as I go along, I will refer to some of these letters of olden times in the 1800s, how the Dakotas associated with the colonists, the British Crown today, the federal government. The federal government is the self-governing body of the British Crown. Britain still has I would say, responsibility to uphold those agreements that we've made with the kings and the queens back then. It's still here. It's still the same. They say these agreements, these laws, don't grow old. They don't grow white hair, white beard like myself here. It's always fresh, but you have to keep it fresh. What the agreements were all about. Royal Proclamation, the laws that govern who we are today, the agreement that we've had with the British Crown. And that's the history, which is very important, which should guide us, to guide us for our generations to live by, to keep it fresh in your mind. Utecha, touching, utecha, fresh mind. Utecha, okachni, after we understand it, so that we can move forward. So, hinahe, just a reminder, I think these holidays that were coming were already mentioned before, but since it's upon us now, I thought we'll mention it again. So next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there will be no live stream until January the 6th. We'll be back here fresh from our holidays and continue this important work of learning and retaining, using the language. So, hinakcha epawa chi. That's how much I wanted to say today as an introduction. How I perceive Wabadake. This is how I think I'm going to do it. Hopefully it'll be interesting to the audience out there, the ones that are listening today or will be listening, going back to the archives, I guess, with what's been filmed already, and kind of hopefully wait for that the 6th to begin again, and a little take on how I'm going to do that. So hechi tuktedo wana nopa ape samhanke 2:30 hech nopa ape 2 o'clock, some beyond hanke half, 2 o'clock beyond half, and another half, 2:30 hecha. So I think I will leave it there and start anew, start fresh on January 6th. January 6th ka kewa onki chia kapte. January 6th we will see each other again. Hechi tuktero metakuepe. Aho.